Why Abraham Lincoln's silent move has caused women to doubt the start of the reverse number of Iran's war with Iran. Iraqis have taken decisive steps to defeat Iran, and the Israeli army has increased its readiness level by more than 900 missiles. In the name of God and with the grace of God, welcome to this news series, and we are Mashru Khabar. The United States has announced that in the last few weeks, the presence and readiness of its government has increased. This move is in a situation that the only logical way to increase it is, and concerns about the continuation of the attacks. According to the official sources, the Air Force's Air Force Command, Abraham Lincoln, has changed its route from the Indian region of Vagyan-Usaram to the Middle East. The report says that this ship has moved in the direction of its route, keeping the intelligence equipment silent. The launch of the Surasan air defense and the transfer of the United Arab Emirates Air Force are similar signs of readiness for the Midnight Hammer operation in Iran, which was carried out in June last year. Transfer of Surasan air defense to Spain is a key point. The four-person K-335 Stratotanker has strategic importance from California's Air Force Base to the Air Force Base in Spain, because this base is the main base of the B-2A Spirit strategic missile launchers. The attack on Iran's land from the airspace and return to the base was a major attack on Iran's land. This flight of a few days without landing and with several air raids was carried out by a large group of air raids. The repetition of this journey with a large number of tanks can be a sign of the readiness of the bombers to fly from Farazog to Atlas. The entry of the C-117A Globemaster III additional aircraft, which has reached a total of 24 aircraft, along with the presence of F-15E Straggle bombers and A-10B2 fighter jet in the Salty Air Force Base, shows that the Air Force is not a fighter and may be able to destroy the attack. The A-10 strike weapon, in addition to the direct air defense in the event of potential land attacks and the Iranian invasion of the region, can be used to ensure the security of the operation of the attack and rescue in the event of the attack. 1. Preparation of the air defense. Air defense, due to the possibility of air defense and the need to participate in possible military operations, has been restored to the ground. 2. The creation of a final illusion of the peak stage, while the first stage of these operations is possible by means of video spray bombs and not small forces in the region. 3. Waiting for the group of air defense missile strikes. From the southern waters of China, the U.S. Air Defense Missile Strike Group is Abraham Lincoln, which is a silent AI system on the move, and since its arrival, 23 of the U.S. military has been preparing to transfer MIM-104 Patriot and TAAD aircraft to the Middle East as part of a possible attack on Iran. TAAD aircraft may be deployed in Israel, where, in Afghanistan and the end of last year, the two ships that were reported to Israel on October 24 and April 25, 2020 are also in the official readiness. The rest of the aircraft defense equipment will probably be deployed at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar and the center of the United Arab Emirates Navy Military Supply Center in Bahrain, as well as the MQ-43 Triton reconnaissance aircraft in the southwest of Iran. The foreign minister of Iran wrote that the U.S. measures of deterrence and military attack have been defeated. Saeed Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran, wrote in an article in American media that the Iranian people's peaceful protests have been turned into internal and external terrorist attacks in a few days, and the internet connection was necessary for the future. He wrote that your connections to the regime are in the process of recovery. The Iraqi media published in the Wall Street Journal article pointing out that during these terrorist acts, the police and the military have aimed to destroy the buildings, hospitals, and public cars. The Minister of Health has been destroyed, and now ordinary life is returned to the country. the foreign minister of Iran, in continuation and pointing out the intervention of Donald Trump, the President of the United States, in the matter of Iran's interior, wrote that Trump's view of Tehran was that by pulling America into another war, it would benefit Israel and the majority of the bloodshed would be caused. And Mike Pompeo's statement as the foreign minister of the United States was a good example of this trend. Tehran has given up its peace agreement with the leader of the U.S. diplomatic office and was ready for a fair agreement, and the U.S. military decisions from the morning until the military operation have been defeated. The United States should change and act with Iran based on mutual respect, Yada Shirakchi, a journalist for the Street Journal, said. The white people must also remain indifferent to the recent Iranian news about the recent Iran's events, despite the fact that the news of Ashkelon and the Sarah Hassan have been published, but maybe some of these things will be revealed soon. The protests were officially recognized by the Iranian government as insidious by the Mashu protests, but the situation became very tense with the arrival of the internal and external terrorists. The closeness of the Mashu and terrorist organization was necessary. The media have created a reality that can be done by an unprecedented threat in the region. In my opinion, the exact goal of this unscientific work was this threat. The armed terrorist groups have initiated protests and shot innocent people. While some media claimed that the big cities of Iran have collapsed, the attack lasted less than 72 hours and will be finally announced after a detailed analysis. The key difference in these objections is that the general awareness of the president was based on the possibility of killing the protesters. This warning gave a clear answer to the plan of Ashok and Giza to advance the most bloodshed strategy, to bring America to another war for Israel. Even the former president of the Black Party in the Trump administration has not been able to influence the opposition's protests. Iran witnessed familiar scenes in many democracies. The main objections are to the economic reform, the ban, the negotiations with the allies, and the unlimited sanctions. An hour after Trump's speech, the security forces were surrounded by armed Ashkelon groups. The shooting targeted both the police and the citizens. The passengers were killed, burned, and even killed. Public buses, hospitals, ambulances, fire stations, chain stores, and even mosques were destroyed until the situation was escalated. The victims were police and ordinary citizens. The model of this violence in America is the killing of 600 armed forces in 72 hours. In contrast to the lies of the outside world, all the unarmed victims were officially martyred, and their families will be like the killed officials. The violence is over, and ordinary life is back in the country. With the intervention of the security forces and the awareness of the people, terrorist cells were identified and eliminated. At the same time, the Iranians and their loved ones are threatening others in a formative way. The final defeat of diplomacy against the tyranny that Iran has shown in the year 2025. Some regional media and unofficial sources reported that the Israeli army has increased its readiness level in recent days and has placed its military and operational forces in a higher alert situation. These reports consider this move likely to be a military operation in the coming days. Based on these reports, Israeli security officials are waiting for the first response or a pre-trial attack. Iran's policy and results show that Tehran does not have a direct start at this stage. However, various scenarios are still in place. Meanwhile, allegations about the increase of the readiness of Iran's missiles have been raised. Some unofficial sources say that Iran has occupied more than 900 missiles in its territory last week, among them objects that were visible in the open. These allegations are still unfounded, and Iranian officials did not present any official statements. The Israeli officials did not publish any information about the operation. Intelligence officials say that in such a situation, increasing defense readiness, showing power, and sending messages is not necessarily a decisive decision for the military. Security experts emphasize that the current environment of the region is under the influence of women's rights, the negative information and indirect messages between the main players, and any change in the situation can quickly disrupt the justice system. Thank you for being with us until the next episode.